today I'm going to tell you about Office 365 for students and staff. There is something new that's happened in our district in that staff has had email accounts for a very long time. But now students have email accounts. And I'm going to show you today how to access your email and how to use it. You will also be able to use have access to some of the Office products online, like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote. And if you don't have these products at home, this will allow you to use them to do work for school or in your personal life. And you can access those from anywhere in the world as long as you have internet. And also, soon you'll be able to download copies onto your machine at home. So there are two ways to get to Office 365. One of them is to go to outlook.office365.com, or, like I'm going to use today, you're going to go to laramie1.org, which is the district web page. And when you get there, we're going to go to the Student tab, and we're going to actually choose Office 365, and then we're going to choose the button for Office 365 Login. And at this login screen, you will be asked to enter your email address and your district password. And let me tell you what format your email address will be in now that you have an email account. So it will have as a student, your email address will begin with your student ID number at students.laramie1.org. So there are a couple things you need to know about your new email account. Emails can only be sent to and received by other students and staff. You will not be able to send emails to anyone outside the school district. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Internet Explorer, and I'm going to go to the district web page, and I'm going to the Students tab, and I have a couple choices here. I have my login choice, or if I need help, if I don't know things about Office 365 that I want to know, I can go to this Resources tab, and there are materials there that will give me information in using Office 365. So sorry. So I'm going to go into the login. And the first time I go in, it will ask me for my email address. Now, I don't have a student account, but I'm using a special account that we have for training. And remember, yours will be your student ID at students.laramie1.org. And so I'm going to type in my special account that I'm using today. And you will use your password. Now notice that there's a little checkbox here, and you probably will not check that checkbox because you do not have one machine that you always use for your account. So I recommend that you don't put a check mark in that box at this point. But I'm going to go ahead and click Sign In. And the very first time you open your account, it wants to know a couple things about you, and it defaults to the language as being English United States, and I'm going to leave that. There are lots of language choices there, but I'm going to choose English United States. And it wants to know your time zone. So we are actually in the Mountain Time Zone, and so it's right here. Now if you're traveling and you want to change to the time zone, your time zone to the place that you're traveling in, you can go to your settings and do that. And why that's important is because it will actually timestamp your emails, and it timestamps your calendar. So it works on the time that your time zone is in. So selecting Mountain Time for us is really important. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save, and when I do that, it creates those settings for me, and it goes in and opens my mail. And remember, I told you that I was using a special account. Well, this account has gotten all kinds of email, but yours probably will not have any email at all. I would be very surprised if yours has email. But I'm going to tell you some things about email while I'm here. So you can see that this account has 318 pieces of unread email. That means I haven't opened any of them before. And remember, this was one of those accounts where email just goes in and sits there. So if I wanted to get rid of the delete the first piece of email that's there, notice I highlighted it with my mouse. I have a little red X. If I click the red X, it deletes it, but it doesn't delete it completely. It only puts it in the deleted items. So do you see now I have one piece of email there? Now if I right click here and I want to get rid of all the email that's there, and I do because this email isn't important to me. So I'm going to empty the folder, and it says, are you sure you want to move all the items in inbox to deleted items? And I'm going to say okay. So now in my inbox, where my most current mail is, I have nothing. And this is probably the way yours is going to look until you start sending email and receiving email. The next area is drafts. If I started an email and didn't finish it, it puts it in drafts, so I can go back and finish it later. Sent items keeps a record of every email I send. So if I send an email and I don't remember what I told someone, I can actually go into sent items and reread the email to see what I said. Here's all those deleted items that I just took out of my inbox. And so this is like a safety net. And so if I delete something and I didn't mean to delete it, I can actually move it back into my inbox if I want. But all these items, I'm going to completely delete them, and watch what happens when I empty this folder. It says, are you sure you want to permanently delete all the items and subfolders in the deleted items? And now they're gone for good. Junk email is how our email accounts will try to sort email. If it looks at something and thinks it sounds like something that would be a piece of junk mail, maybe from a manufacturer or from a book company or from a magazine company, it will put it in junk email. But I think your accounts will be protected pretty much from junk email. I would be surprised if you get any junk email. But if it isn't in your inbox and you think you should have email, you might want to look in your junk to see if it went there. And notes are little notes that you can create about things you want to remember. And we'll get into those in more depth later. If I want to create a new email, I'm going to go up here to the plus sign and I'm going to click New Email. When I do that, the new email opens to the right. And notice up here I have some commands. I can send it. I can discard it. Discard means delete it, not send it. I can insert pictures or music or another document to it. I can go to do any of these things that are in the more dots. These dots mean, and there's more. And if I click that, here's some more things that I can do. If I've typed in email addresses, I can actually check them to see if they're really people I can email in the district. I can set importance. If I say something's of a high importance, do you see how it put that exclamation point right there? And it will actually mark the email with an exclamation point, and hopefully you'll notice that and know it's important. If I click on the word to, it takes me out to my contacts. And this is the global address book. And say I was looking for people with the last name of Allen. So I'm going to type in Allen. And it'll go out and find everybody who has the last name of Allen. Now if I go further, it might even find people who have the first name of Allen. See down here? These people have first names of Allen. Now notice in the names, some of them have student numbers. That's how I tell if they're a student, and they have the address students at studentslaramie1.org. And this one is an employee. So see, it doesn't have that student number. So that's how you'll tell if it's a teacher's account or if it's a staff member's account or if it's a student account. So I'm going to actually choose the teacher. And when I do that, and it tells me information about them, a little bit of information. It says this person works at East High School. So I'm going to press the plus sign And I'm going to send this to a student named Alan as well. And I'm going to click the plus sign, and now I have 2 people whose last names are Allen that I'm sending email to. And I'm going to say OK to leave the global address book. I think you should always put a subject in your email, and I just think it's something nice to do so people kind of get a little snapshot of what the email is about. So I'm going to type homework assignment in here. Now in the insert menu, I could put a picture in, I could add the document to it. Just by doing going to attachments or OneDrive, it will let me choose things to put in this email. Down here in the body, my cursor's flashing, it's ready to let me type. So I can type there and go on and on. Now if I want to change my font style, I can do that. You can also set your default. Right now it's defaulted to Calibri, but I could change that default in my settings if I wanted to use a different font. I can set my size in my settings as well, but I can also, if I want dear to be a little bigger, I could do that. I could make it bold. I could make it italicized. I could put an underline there. I also can do bullets and numbers. I can move things 5 to the left or 5 to the right. I can highlight. I can change my font color. I can remove the formatting, and this is an eraser, so it takes the formatting out. I can add a table or a chart by just simply clicking here, and that means more. I can put in a link, I can justify it, I can do an exponent if I need to, I can do a strike through, I can undo, my favorite mark in the world. So once I have my email the way I want, I usually type my email and then I do all my formatting after if I'm going to change some formatting. If I decide I'm not going to send it, I could discard it. But if I send it, it'll go off to those 2 people that I'm sending it to, and it will put a copy in my sent items. And that's a basic quick look at email. Notice across the top, I'm in Outlook, that's my email. Calendar is, I can actually set appointments in there. If I want to keep track of when assignments are due, I can certainly do that. I can invite people to different things by sending appointments to people. People is where I can add my own contacts. Remember, we have the global address list already, but I could add contacts of my own there. Now remember, you won't be able to email them if they're out of district, but you certainly could put in their email addresses and things if you wanted. Tasks will actually make me, if I'm a person that likes to make lists and keep track of how far I am with working on projects, I can do that here. I'm going to skip Newsfeed for now. And OneDrive is where you can save your documents, and you have access to them anywhere that you have internet. So the first time you click on it, you have to let it set things up. I think it'll work pretty quickly for us. See, it says my OneDrive is ready. So now I'm going to click it, and I'm going to go into OneDrive. Now, you have a huge OneDrive space. I don't know if you've ever heard about the size of mailboxes and the size of documents, if you've ever thought about that. But your OneDrive is a whole terabyte of space. And actually it's a cloud space, which means it's really not in the cloud, you know. But it's a cloud space, and it's on a server somewhere, and you have a terabyte of space, so you can put your music in there, you can put pictures in there, you can put videos in there, and have access to them wherever you have internet. Now let's look at this interface right here just to show you. Over here on the far left, these are the documents. If they're documents that have been shared with me, I can sort and just see those documents that others have shared with me. Say I'm doing work with someone in a class and we're doing a shared document and we're both adding information to it. I can actually click on that and I'll only see the documents that I'm sharing with people. I can see the documents I'm following. And here's my recycle bin. That's where I've deleted things. So that's where deleted things sit. notice that there's already a folder in my OneDrive, and it says shared with everyone. And you think, wow, that's cool. But the thing about shared with everyone, if I put something in that folder, it's shared with everyone who is in Office 365 at Laramie County School District number 1. So that might not be the place that you want to share things. So just know that that is not a private folder. It's shared by everyone in the district. So if I put my language arts paper in there, everyone in the district could be reading my paper. So just so you know. So I'm going to go up here to New, and these are some of the things we're going to talk about today. If I click on New, it opens up a little window. And so I can actually open a Word document. This is the online version of these programs. So I could open up Word and type in it and then save it to OneNote. I could open up an Excel workbook and save it to OneDrive. I could open up PowerPoint and save it. I could open up a OneNote notebook. I could also create an Excel survey here. I could also add a new folder, and so if I wanted a folder called Math, and I was just going to put my math work in there, see how I created a brand new folder? So you say, so I've got all this terabyte space, how do I get my video in there? So I'm going to open up a special file that I've created that has some documents in it. And this first one is a picture. So I'm going to click on it. It's the ornament picture, and I'm going to drag it out. And when I drag it up into this area, do you see how that blue box opened? And I can click there, and when I do that, it adds that document or that picture of an ornament to my OneDrive. So now I can get to that anytime I'm logged into Office 365. Now here's a piece of music. I'm going to take that up. See how fast it enters things? It brings it into my OneDrive. Here's a PowerPoint presentation. Here's a little movie on QR codes. Now watch how fast it does this little movie. And right up here at the top, it's showing me how it's moving along this timeline to show me how close it is to finishing. It's almost done. There it is. And notice that it puts in kind of a little picture. Like this was a PowerPoint, so I have a symbol for PowerPoint. This was a piece of music, so it looks like that. Here's a picture, so it's there. Now if I want my ornament picture inside my math folder, I can drag and drop it. And now if I open up that math folder, there's that ornament that I had inside there. Okay, so I'm up here in the breadcrumbs. Did you see how it said math? And this is how I get back to my view of the entire page. So you have tons of space in OneDrive that you can save things to. And notice that we have "and there's more" symbols behind each of these documents. So if I click on the "and there's more" symbol, I can actually share this. And I could type in people's email addresses who I want to share it, and I could actually give them the rights just to look at it or to change it. So if I'm going to work on something with a partner and I want them to be able to edit it and create things right along with me, so we're both working on a project together, I can give them editing rights on a document that I have created, and we can both change it. And we can actually both be in it at the same time and be editing it in real time together. So it has lots of options that we've never had before. So this is the invite people. Here's where I can get a link, and if I create a link, I can actually share that link in an email, and people can click the link and get to the document. And if I go to shared with, it will actually list everyone that I'm sharing the document with. So I can actually change the rights if I want to on this, right in this area. So I hope this gave you some ideas on how you can use this. You can add a picture to your account if you want. And if I click on my picture, this is where I sign out. And it's a good idea to always sign out as you leave a machine so your account wouldn't accidentally be left open for others to get into. So this is, and this is my settings. Remember I talked about my settings? And about me is where you add your picture and information about yourself. So I hope this will get you started with your email account. If you have questions, please ask your teachers. They probably have a good idea of how this works, and they can actually help you. And I hope this gives you access to documents that you haven't had in the past. Thanks for listening.